Hello and welcome to Poetry Pea, the podcast where we read and celebrate some of the finest haiku and senryu being written today. I'm Patricia, your host, and this week we're mostly following a river. In this case, the Douro River, as it flows through the beautiful city of Porto in Portugal. It was the video prompt for the first part of this week's podcast, and the wonderful Nitu Yomnam was the curating editor for the prompt. May's prompt this year, 2026. Many thanks to Nitu for the time she spent reading all your poems. And this might be a good time to remind you that there is another video prompt up on the Poetry Pea YouTube channel. Head over, watch, and be inspired to write your poems. And you, like the poets in part 1 of this podcast, could have your work read here and printed in the Poetry Pea Journal. Rivers are fascinating things. They've always carried more than water. They divide countries and families, carry memories, echo with birdsong, and sometimes with sirens. They can separate us from the people we love or bring us unexpectedly together. They offer places of reflection, movement and change, sometimes danger, reminding us that nothing ever stays quite the same. Actually, this month's video editor, Lakshmi Iyer, wrote, interestingly, about rivers and mountains in this instance, in a piece in the Haiku dialogue on the Haiku Foundation. I've taken a couple of poems from her curated piece, which you'll hear in part 2 today. Link, of course, in the show notes. So alongside the poems Nito chose, I've gathered a few favourite river poems from the Poetry Pea archives and beyond, including work by Buson and more contemporary poets. So we'll see how this endlessly fascinating image has flowed through haiku across generations. Now, settle yourself somewhere comfortable, listen to the current, and let's step onto the bridge together. Warily crossing the bridge between old and new. Warily crossing the bridge between old and new. Johnny Moran. Their rift too far to bridge. Their rift too far to bridge. Klugh. Touching hands. The river never was too wide. Touching hands. The river never was too wide. And this is the first of 3 poems by Melissa Dennison. Here's the next one. Reaching the other side. Your words close the distance. Reaching the other side. Your words close the distance. Melissa Dennison. Swollen river, my ever-growing anger at your betrayal. Swollen river, my ever-growing anger at your betrayal. Mona Bedi. Rainy afternoon, swaying from side to side in the ambulance. Rainy afternoon, swaying from side to side in the ambulance. Rupa Anand. Indian summer. I become an armchair traveller. Indian summer. I become an armchair traveller. Anjali Warhadpande. And it's really hot here in Zurich, well into the 30 degrees today. I think I need to go and sit down in an armchair with a fan. So hot. River light. Our shadows separate on the steep street. River light. Our shadows separate on the steep street. Jacek Margolak. Sunset, rippling through the waters, church bells. Sunset, rippling through the waters, church bells. Rupa Anand. Bird's eye view, admiring the city from a new perspective. Bird's eye view, admiring the city from a new perspective. Callus. And now that's interesting because this morning I had to go into Zurich and I popped in to one of the largest churches in the city of Zurich, the Grossmünster. And while I was there, one of their volunteer guides came up and told me that there was a little 10-minute tour to their cloisters. I didn't know this particular church had cloisters. And she said, neither did most of her Swiss friends. So I went, and I saw the church from a new perspective. So if you're ever in Zurich, nip over to the Grossmünster and have a look at the cloisters. It's very, very peaceful, very, very beautiful. I recommend it. And there aren't many things that are free. It's free. Absorbing my rants, the river becomes one with the siren. Absorbing my rants, the river becomes one with the siren. Lakshmi Iyer. After the wail, the same pigeons on the red roofs. After the wail, the same pigeons on the red roofs. Sandip Chauhan. The river, all that divides us. The river, all that divides us. Melissa Dennison. Too many questions. The guide translates the buzz. Too many questions. The guide translates the buzz. Lakshmi Iyer. War siren, wailing through the streets, black veils. War siren, wailing through the streets, black veils. Arvinder Kaur. Heat shimmer. A siren's wail stirs the water. Heat shimmer. A siren's wail stirs the water. Vaishnavi Ramaswamy. Night breeze. A lullaby rising beyond the river. Night breeze. A lullaby rising beyond the river. Arvinder Kaur. Sirens, the river's steady flow to the ocean. Sirens, the river's steady flow to the ocean. Vikram Kolmannskog. And the last poem in this section, and definitely not the least, we have the editor's choice. Yes, second month running, we have an editor's choice. And I should really have a drum roll, shouldn't I? Maybe next month if I remember. Nonetheless, congratulations to Tony Williams with this little gem. Far from home. More sirens than starlings. Far from home. More sirens than starlings. As I said, that was Tony Williams. Thank you, Tony. Right then, this is the bit where I shuffle awkwardly from one foot to the other and ask you for your help. You know I'd much rather be reading another haiku than talking about money, but the truth is, Poetry Pea only keeps flowing because lovely people like you keep topping up the river. If you enjoy these podcasts, there are lots of ways you can help. You could buy me a coffee, which, given the amount of editing that goes on round here, is never wasted. You could become a Poetry Pea member and join our wonderfully supportive community. But if memberships aren't your thing, a donation via PayPal is always gratefully received. And if your purse is as dry as a summer riverbed, don't worry. You can still help enormously by telling your poetry friends about Poetry Pea, sharing an episode on social media, or simply making us part of your weekly routine. Every listen, every recommendation, and every kind word helps more than you might imagine. All the links are in the show notes, and every bit of support, whether financial or simply spreading the word, helps keep Poetry Pea happily bobbing along instead of disappearing over the nearest waterfall. Thank you. It really does mean the world. Okay, back to what I like best, and in this part 2, I've been spreading my nets through our archive and other haiku places to trawl some surprisingly good minnows to read to you. I hope you enjoy them. Sooty smog, from the river, the colour of laughter. Sooty smog, from the river, the colour of laughter. Corinne Timmer, from the Poetry Pea Podcast, Series 2. Yes, Series 2, Episode 24. Floating leaves, wanting to be part of the river. Floating leaves, wanting to be part of the river. Minal Sarosh, The Poetry Pea Journal 123. Worn out by summer, no place to hide from the heat, cold river flows by. Worn out by summer, no place to hide from the heat, cold river flows by. Ian Richardson, Poetry Pea Journal 425. Newlyweds kiss on the river walk. Returning butterflies. Newlyweds kiss on the river walk. Returning butterflies. Rowan Beckett Minor, Poetry Pea Journal 325. River water, through my finger, clouds. River water through my finger, clouds. Anna Maria Domberg, San Cristoforo, The Pan Haiku Review, Spring 2023. Off to college. The main road along a river, leading to the ocean. Off to college. The main road along a river, leading to the ocean. Anthony Lusardi, from the Poetry Pea Journal 4/24. Long dry summer. The willow branch doesn't reach the river. Long dry summer. The willow branch doesn't reach the river. Robin Rich, from the Poetry Pea Podcast, Series 3, Episode 18. And I think Robin could well be describing the summer we're going to have this year. Lost. I let the river take me home. Lost. I let the river take me home. Caroline Ridley Duff, from the Haiku Dialogue at the Haiku Foundation, Mountain and River. Remember, that's what I was talking about earlier. The one that's guest edited by Lakshmi Iyer. I'll put the links in the show notes. River Overlook. Late winter sun warms the eagle's back. River Overlook. Late winter sun warms the eagle's back. Janice Doppler, Poetry Pea's Little Marvels Anthology in 2025. And now, a tanker for you. My mind, shattered in thousands of fragments, wishes to spend this whole day on a boat, drifting with the river stream. My mind, shattered in thousands of fragments, wishes to spend this whole day on a boat, drifting with the river stream. Okamoto Kanoko, translated by Makoto Ueda. Snow melting. The colour of the river changes its rhythm. Snow melting. The colour of the river changes its rhythm. Maya Zaneva, from the Poetry Pea Journal, Spring 2021. What happiness, crossing this summer river, sandals in hand. What happiness, crossing this summer river, sandals in hand. Buson, translated by R.H. Blythe. And he's not wrong, is he? There's nothing better than splashing about in the shallows of a river in the summer. Almost slipping out of view, the river bends back. Almost slipping out of view, the river bends back. Roger Ishii, Favourite Haiku, Volume 1, 1998, from the Red Moon Press. Old Rhine Bridge, a flurry of horse dung, marking the border. Old Rhine Bridge, a flurry of horse dung, marking the border. David Cox, from that haiku dialogue piece I spoke about earlier, Mountain and Rivers. And you know, I can't help but think I may have been over the same bridge. I have spent very happy weekends cycling backwards and forwards between Switzerland and Germany, crossing the bridges along the Rhine. Well, that's it for this week. Before you drift away, don't forget to have a listen to last week's episode if you haven't already. I left you with a little bit of poetry homework. Nothing too taxing, I promise. But if you can spare a few minutes, I think you'll enjoy having a go. The instructions are also in the show notes for that episode. And do pop over to the Poetry Pea YouTube channel and join in with our monthly video prompt. If you're quick, you'll just catch this month's prompt, guest edited by Lakshmi Iyer. We'd love to read your poems, but do remember, they must be left in the comments beneath the video. If they're not there, they can't be included. Next week's podcast? Well, to be honest, your guess is almost as good as mine. At the moment, it's still a delightful mystery, even to me. I haven't decided what we'll be exploring, which is one of the joys of making this podcast. Too many chocolates in this particular box. If there's a haiku topic, technique, poet, or question you'd love me to cover, do let me know. I'm always delighted to hear your ideas, and one of them might just become next week's episode, if you're quick. Until then, thank you so much for listening. Do take care, and keep noticing, keep wondering, and above all, keep writing. Links in the show notes, don't forget. Ciao.